In today's episode, we're going to be answering the question, what is a highly sensitive person? Welcome to Seeking True Love, a podcast for highly sensitive, intuitive, growth-oriented women who are tired of shrinking themselves to fit into someone else's version of love. I'm Elizabeth Rave, dating and relationship coach for highly sensitive women, lifelong romantic, and yes, I'm a highly sensitive woman myself. Maybe you've asked yourself, why is this so hard for me? Why does love feel overwhelming or just out of reach? This podcast is here to help you understand yourself more deeply, trust your intuition again, and approach love in a way that actually works for women like us. Because love isn't something you chase, it's not some fairy tale, and it's not something that you just find one day. It's something you become ready for, because your love story should be extraordinary.
You're just right for me, and I'm just right for you, and I'll take your heart and squeeze so softly, so sweetly, forever love.
What is a highly sensitive person? It's kind of in the name, right? You are highly sensitive. And if you've ever been told you're too sensitive, well, we're going to be addressing that here because I'm here to tell you you are not too sensitive. Let's talk about why does this matter when it comes to love? Because dating as a highly sensitive person, or HSP, well, it can feel exhausting, especially if you don't know what's going on. Without understanding your sensitivity, it's a little too easy to judge yourself for not being more cool about a casual hookup when that's not what you want, or staying in a relationship that doesn't feel quite right because you can't quite figure out what's wrong. I've done that one. It's pretty easy to override your intuition and ignore your own needs if you're not aware that you are unique in this way, and paying attention to your needs is actually going to be what's going to bring you your most fulfilling love. It's pretty easy to burn out from dating apps and all the emotional roller coasters, or to just not know where to meet people and get really, really tired of trying to go to places that don't feel very good, like loud bars, clubs, parties, or other overwhelming situations. Understanding that you're highly sensitive and really honoring that trait, that's going to be the key to your dating success. So, what is a highly sensitive person? The term highly sensitive person comes from the work of Dr. Elaine Aron, a psychologist who has been researching this trait since the 1990s. According to her work, high sensitivity is an innate trait. It's not a flaw, it's not a disorder, and it's not something that needs to be healed or fixed. I first came across Dr. Elaine's book in a pretty interesting way. Back in 2013, I had what I'm going to describe as a healing crisis. I started to have debilitating chronic pain, mood swings and panic attacks, and I started losing weight, unexplainably. Even though I was eating healthy and eating ample amounts of food, I got down to almost 100 pounds, and I was not doing well. I had all kinds of medical tests, and nobody could really figure out what was going on, but I had the intuition that it was because I was dealing with some unresolved trauma that was coming up for healing. During this healing crisis, I had certain memories that had been long repressed and forgotten, come back. Memories of physical and emotional abuse that I endured as a child. And when they came up, I was ready to heal them, because at this point, I was far enough on my personal development journey that I had the tools and the resources to actually heal them at a much deeper level. And so intuitively, I felt like, well, my body is healing. I also had this image of myself as being a sort of invincible, strong woman who could handle anything on the other side of this healing crisis. That's not what happened. As I started to heal and started to gain weight again and feel better, I actually got more sensitive. What? I was so confused and upset by this at first. If I'm healing, I should be getting less sensitive, not more sensitive, right? But finally, I began to wonder, maybe all this trauma that I'm healing is like I'm letting go of walls that I've put up my whole life. And the real me, the me that's underneath, is a highly sensitive person. That was the phrase that popped into my head, even though I'd never heard of this book or any of this work before. So I Googled the phrase, highly sensitive person, and I was delighted to discover that there was an entire book with that exact title. One of the things that I came across is an assessment on Dr. Elaine Aron's website that helps you determine whether or not you are an HSP. I've included a link to this assessment in the show notes if you'd like to check it out for yourself. When I took the assessment, I got pretty much a perfect score. Highly sensitive people are about 20% of the population. And again, this is an innate, inborn trait. It's genetic. So if you're highly sensitive, you probably have at least one highly sensitive parent or ancestor. Sensitivity in nervous systems is a lot like body types. Some humans are naturally more slim, some are naturally more heavy-set. It doesn't have anything to do with how healthy you are. A heavy-set person at their healthiest is never going to look like a super slim person. It's just not going to happen because it's not their body type. It's the same thing for these nervous system types. Sensitivity exists on a spectrum. You have low sensitivity, medium sensitivity, and highly sensitive people. Stop trying to fix or change what's going on with you because it's innate and it's beautiful. Roll with it, and you'll see it'll actually become one of your best friends in dating, love, and in life. All right, let's go into some details of some traits that highly sensitive people tend to share. Number 1, there is a certain depth of processing information. HSPs tend to think deeply, reflect carefully, and notice subtleties that other people might miss. They also have a tendency to get more easily overstimulated. So if there's too much sensory input, things like noise, crowds, bright lights, this can be very easily overwhelming for you, and more so than for other people. One of the concepts that I find very important in this work is the concept of the optimal level of arousal. That's not necessarily sexual arousal, that's any kind of nervous system arousal, as in how stressed out is your nervous system. Not enough stress, you're going to be bored. Too much stress, you're going to be overwhelmed. The optimal level of arousal is somewhere in the middle. You don't want to be bored or overwhelmed. This is true for all humans, regardless of their level of sensitivity. However, your optimal level of arousal as an HSP is going to be different than somebody who has a lower sensitivity. It's going to take more stimuli for them to find that optimal level of arousal. Think about the kinds of things that you find enjoyable and fun. What are some things that you find fun, and what are some environments that other people find fun that you might find overwhelming? Here's a fun exercise to get a sense of this. Imagine a beach. First, imagine a nice quiet beach. There's very few people there. Maybe all you can hear are the sounds of birds and the waves. Sounds nice, right? Now imagine a crowded beach with lots of people yelling and screaming. The sun is so hot. People are barbecuing and you can smell the smoke from the barbecue. That could be really fun for a lot of people, but for me, I'll take the quiet beach. But the quiet beach might be really boring for someone with a low sensitivity. They might prefer the lively, crowded beach where there's lots of people and noise and activity to help keep them engaged. One's not better than the other. You have to think about which environment do you like. This is important in dating and relationships because you're going to want to pick a partner that's going to like what you like. You don't have to pick a highly sensitive partner to be happy, but you do have to have things in common that you will enjoy doing together. HSPs also have a high level of emotional responsiveness and empathy. We tend to feel things very deeply. I, for one, struggled a lot with deep feelings and intense emotions that I couldn't really understand. Why is this so intense for me? Until I learned this is a highly sensitive person trait. Now I have tools to help me ride those intense waves of emotions, and I don't attach so much meaning to them or allow them to screw up my relationships the way that I used to. HSPs are also deeply empathetic, and while this can be great in relationships, it can also be challenging because if you know your partner's having a bad day, it can really affect you in almost a cellular way. HSPs are particularly prone to things like codependency for this reason. HSPs are also very sensitive to subtle stimuli, things like flickering lights, loud noises, a shift in someone's energy, touch, textures, tastes, smells. Think about the 5 senses. You have touch, taste, smell, sight, and sound. All of those things are going to be a little bit more heightened for you, so you're going to be more sensitive to the things in your environment that are going to trigger those. That's okay. You just have to be aware of it. I know a lot of highly sensitive people, including myself, that are very sensitive to the texture and comfort of our clothing. What about you? What things are you sensitive to? Let's also talk about what a highly sensitive person is not. A highly sensitive person is not weak. They're not overly dramatic. they're not emotionally immature, and they're not cowardly or avoidant or fearful of the whole world. Now, they might have developed defense mechanisms that would make them appear that way, but deep down, you're not like that. Being brave is about being willing to grow past your comfort zone. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You are not cowardly. You're not weak. As long as you're willing to grow past your comfort zone, that makes you physically and emotionally strong, despite what you might have been told. And even if you've had strong emotional reactions, you're not an inherently dramatic person. People who thrive on drama are people who like attention. It's a whole other thing. Being highly sensitive may have made you reactive, but if you have tools to manage it, it's not going to be inherent for you. I know because that was part of my journey. It's also not being immature. In fact, the most mature thing you can do as a highly sensitive person is to own your sensitivity, to recognize it, and to go with it, to learn how to work with it instead of comparing yourself to other people and then beating yourself up because you're not like that. Your nervous system is more finely tuned. It has a deep awareness of the world. It has a deep awareness of beauty, of suffering, of energy, of emotion. If that's you, you do have to move through the world a little bit differently than some other people. That's okay. It's not a flaw. It's actually one of your best traits, and it will bring you lots of wisdom and fulfillment if you can let it. Some of the challenges of being a highly sensitive person are that you get more easily overwhelmed, like we talked about. But let's talk about some of the gifts. As an HSP, you are deeply empathetic, intuitive, and you have the ability for introspective, deep thought. You also have the ability to feel incredible amounts of pleasure. The next time you feel overwhelmed by your environment in a stressful way, just remember you also get to be overwhelmed by pleasure in your love relationship. It's pretty fun, and I think it's worth the trade. So if you've ever wondered, why does love feel so hard for me? What is going on? Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. You don't need to be less sensitive. You need to work with your sensitivity. If this resonates with you, I created a free guide called 5 Dating Mistakes Every Highly Sensitive Woman Should Avoid. The link on how to access that is in the show notes. I've also included links to Dr. Elaine Aron's assessment and her 2 books, The Highly Sensitive Person and The Highly Sensitive Person in Love. Both of these are books that I recommend when it comes to understanding how you are going to move through the world in terms of dating and relationships. She has many other books as well that I haven't read, but I'm sure are great resources also, if you're interested in those. Last thing, if you would like support on your journey to finding true love, I'm here for you. You really don't have to do this alone. I would not be experiencing the love that I am today if it weren't for the coaches that I hired, and I want to give you that same gift. If you're ready to dive deeper, you can book a discovery call with me. No high-pressure sales, because we HSPs don't take very kindly to that. This is a chat to see if we're a good fit, and it has to be a good fit for both of us. If you're at all curious, the call is free, and the link on how to book a call is in the show notes as well. Until next time, take care of your beautiful heart, because your love story should be extraordinary.
You're just